Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Gold and Silver Club end of week review presented by myself, Phil Carr, and Nick Kelsey at the goldandsilverclub.com. Today we will be reviewing the latest developments in the commodities markets and analysing the week's performance. So during this live session, we'll be looking at an end of week summary for gold, silver, oil, and the commodity currencies. We'll be looking at the top trades of the week. We'll go over live market commentary and technical analysis. We'll look at the week ahead, so key events looking forward, and of course answer any questions whilst on this call as well. Okay, first of all, this week has been an incredibly interesting week for the gold market. Again, we've seen some very profitable moves since non-farm payroll, both to go long and to short, which we'll talk you through very shortly. So the major news today was gold jumping above $1,300 an ounce just yesterday, boosted by a weaker US dollar and strong Chinese trade data sparked economic optimism. So gold price rebounded on Thursday, reacting to a falling dollar and stronger than expected July trade figures from China. Gold was trading 2% higher at $1,312 an ounce just last night at 10 o'clock, while silver added 3.75% to trade at $20.24 an ounce. The US dollar index edged lower by 0.39% to 80.97 at the same time. So the index has been holding around the 7-week low. China's export growth exceeded forecasts in July. Imports increased over 10% while exports grew over 5%, so both better than expected, signaling demand for the precious. And currently China is the world's largest consumer of gold, silver and other metals, including platinum, palladium and copper. So looking ahead, the big question is, will gold and silver prices continue to rally as they have done towards the end of this week? So we'll look at that very shortly. My name is Phil Carr. I'm the professional trader, trainer and speaker, also the co-founder and director of the Gold and Silver Club. I specialize in teaching people how to make money from trading the most lucrative financial markets in the world. So gold, silver, oil and the commodity currencies. I've trained thousands of individuals to become independent traders and successfully manage their own investment portfolios. I'm responsible for the research and development of the Gold and Silver Club trademark strategies that have a proven track record of generating returns for traders, also a regular contributor to a number of financial publications and speak at numerous trading seminars, webinars and workshops. Okay, joining me on the call is Nick Kelsey, professional trader, investment analyst and speaker. Nick began his career within private wealth management in 2002 before making the transition into proprietary trading. Now, prior to co-founding the Gold and Silver Club, Nick spent over 5 years coaching professional fund managers and traders internationally for some of the world's top-tier hedge funds and investment banks. Through his first-hand relationship with some of the world's most successful traders, Nick discovered the formula, the mindset and tools that give any individual the definitive edge to trade in any economy, and also regularly writes for a number of global business and financial publications and appears frequently on financial television with myself. So let's have a look at gold price. So the gold price currently, we are at $1,310 an ounce. So that's just on Friday. So we'll be looking at the charts just very shortly with you. One thing you do need to bear in mind is the US dollar index broke through key 200-day moving average on Wednesday, and since then we've seen a big move on the US dollar index, big move down on Brent crude oil and WTI crude oil, and also USD Canadian dollar, and we've also seen a nice relief rally on both gold and silver. So one thing to note on the US dollar index is that we are coming to test like a 5-year trend channel. Sorry, this is the 5-year chart. We're looking at a 2-year trend channel on the US dollar index. If we break through that, we're going to see possibly a really nice rally on gold and silver. USD CAD will continue down, Brent crude oil. So it's an important level to hold. If we do hold it, we could see gold and silver further weakness if we now bounce back from this level of support. So we'll be watching that very closely. We'll have a look at that today, but next week especially. And of course, seasonality is kicking in now and playing its part. So during August in India, we typically do see heavy buying in gold due to the start of the wedding season. So you can see the updated chart here. So normally the first few months of the year, particularly the spring, early summer, we do normally see weakness in gold and silver, and we tend to bottom out across June or July, and we're certainly seeing that possibly at the moment. So this is the recent chart, just put in a line chart there to show you this year's moves, and you can see there we've pretty much followed seasonality very closely this year to the 30-year trend. So August there bottomed out in June and July, and you can see August starting to put in a bit of a relief rally. So could this be the start of a bigger rally which sees us get back to 1350 in the 1400s over August and September? We're on the 9th of September actually today, so 9th of August, sorry, today, and we'll be seeing whether we're going to get, we'll keep you updated on that, whether we're going to see a little bit of a rally now over the course of August and into September as well. So we'll move across to the charts very shortly. Okay, top trades of the week using the Gold and Silver Club signature trading strategies. With the top trades we've had, Brent crude oil. This was from last Friday's non-farm payroll that we pointed out this setup. We came up to test the major level of resistance at $110 a barrel. We found resistance there just before NFP that we came up to that level. Then we came down and we produced a very nice setup to sell short, breaking through 109.30. As you see there on the chart. We came down very short and sharp on non-farm payroll, and then Monday we came down and hit our profit target at 106.75 for a 255 pip profit. You can see risk on that was 78 pips, so $780 for each lot traded, and the profit was 255 pips, so $2,550 for each lot traded for a 3-to-1 profit on Brent crude oil. And then gold, this was on non-farm payroll as well. We had a very key level of support that we were looking to hold just on Friday's non-farm payroll. If we broke through that, we were going to short, but that was at $1,283 an ounce. We found support at that level, and we always get quite a lot of consolidation just before a major news announcement, and from there we were able to take a position. As soon as we saw that the negative numbers come through, we were able to take a position long on gold, got in there. You can see a couple of positions we got in there, but essentially 12.95 was our core position, and you can see there we've come out at 13.15 just for a quick 200-point trade. In fact, gold didn't manage to get above that trend line or that 13.17 level, which is still presenting resistance today. So the risk on that was 75 points, so $750 for each lot traded for a reward there of 200 points, so for $2,000 on each lot traded for a 3-to-1 risk to reward. And we've had more opportunities to trade gold and oil and USD CAD this week. So this was a nice box setup that we had on just Wednesday, and we took a breakout from $1,284 an ounce once the price had tested $1,772 an ounce twice. And twice that we found quite a lot of support at that level, and then once we had confirmation we had a breakout, and we just got a very quick 3-to-1 up to 12.95 for 110 points profit there from just a very tight risk of 35 points. So each lot traded $350 risk for $1,100 profit for a nice 3-to-1. And crude oil, this nice setup that we highlighted on our live trading room on Tuesday. So we were looking for a break of support 106.50 level, which had been tested a number of times and held. So once we finally broke through that, and the US dollar index was breaking down as well, so we had more confirmation that this was a very high probability trade. And once this broke, the floodgates opened. We very quickly moved 100 pips down, and in fact we followed through just yesterday, and we moved a total of 162 pips. Well, oil moved slightly more than that, bottomed out after about 175, but we got out for 162 pips, so 50 pip risk on that for $500 risk for $1,620 profit on each lot traded for a 3-to-1 on Brent crude oil. And then USD CAD, this was fantastic trade just yesterday on USD CAD. Reason being is such a tight risk to reward. We came up to a really key level of resistance just above 1.0433. We found rejection, a lot of profit taking. With pinpoint accuracy we came out to that key level, and we just had a really nice setup there, pin bar setup, and we had a risk there of 12 pips, very tight risk, and we managed to, well, essentially USD CAD absolutely tanked, and over 24 hours we had over 128 pips. So for over 11-to-1 risk to reward, so $120 risk on USD CAD, each lot traded for $1,280 profit, which is what we like. So USD CAD, that was just yesterday, as at the same time as the US dollar index also broke down. Okay, so moving on, we're going to look at some live market technical analysis. So first of all, I'm just going to bring across, this is my Gold and Silver Club custom-built Reuters news trading platform, which I will bring across for you now, just have a look at. We will just go into some analysis and have a look at the US dollar index and look at how the overall markets are performing at the moment. Okay, so quick snapshot of the markets at the top there, top right. We can see the star performers of the day: silver, WTI oil, Australian US dollar, and Brent oil following after that, and the losers of the day, USD CAD. Gold to some extent a bit neutral today, but what I really want to point your attention to is here, US dollar index is finding some support today, which is interesting, putting a bit of pressure on gold at the moment, but we're finding a little bit of support at that clear, very clear 2-year trend channel, which you've got here. This is where we're finding support. So very interesting to note on the US dollar index. If we find support there and the market does manage to rally up from that key level and find support the US dollar index, we could see gold and silver go lower and USD CAD get a bit of relief at this point. However, if we break down from this key level of support, we're probably going to see gold and silver continue their relief rally here, possibly get back up to the 1330s or 1350s on gold, and we could see USD CAD and Brent crude oil break down further. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on that. We just look at our forecasting as well. So USD Canadian dollar, I mean, really the major banks have been spot on with USD Canadian dollar in terms of forecasting here. So we've been monitoring this very closely, and this gave us more confirmation to go short USD CAD when we came up to this area of resistance, a key price action level as well. And since then, we have actually had this sell-off, as all the banks have been in agreement, actually, which is quite rare, that USD CAD was due a correction. And we certainly, as you saw, profited with a nice 12-to-1 risk to reward just yesterday. So USD CAD is still predicted by the banks to have, well, at this point, to get some support, possibly short-term support, but over the longer haul, we could see a correction. In fact, the US dollar index may correct as well if we get that big down move. So you can see how well these two markets are mirroring each other, USD Canadian dollar, and also here is the US dollar index. So both come down to important levels of support recently. Just here as well, you can see there's a trend channel forming here on US dollar index as well, which is going to see, sorry, on USD CAD, which we're going to see if that is broken or not. Okay, so let's move across to the live charts, and we will just get a better idea of what to expect moving into next week. So here is that US dollar Canadian dollar move that we had. So really nice sell short opportunity, which was yesterday, and you can see here, this is where we hit a key price action level, 1.0444. with pinpoint accuracy, and that was well spotted, highlighted to all our traders, and once we got that, that was just very much a case. You can see where it's come down, just delivered over 11-to-1 risk to reward, so really nice risk to reward on that trade on USD Canadian dollar. What to expect next? Well, you see here that it's continuing its ascent down. We expect it to come down to the 1.02651 level next, these key areas of support. And then on USD Canadian dollar, we're going to be watching very closely. Are we going to find support there, or are we going to break through this trend line? If we're going to break through, are we then going to come down to the next key level, which is 1.01442? So that's what we're going to be watching on USD Canadian dollar, whether we get supported, but it does look like it's just coming down to hit that level as we have done previously. Silver's getting a bit of a breakout today. You can see here silver crossing over some major moving average, got a whole cluster of moving averages that silver has just managed to break through over the last couple of days. You can see this nice sort of pin bar down here at the beginning of August. Just lost, well actually that was on Monday. Let's have a look. No, going back. No, we're at Wednesday. Apologies. This was on Wednesday where we got this move when the US dollar index broke down, and we could see this is where we found support on silver just at the 19.11 level, which was actually a key price action level as well. And since then, we've seen a nice rally. So it does have a little bit of resistance to get through silver. Otherwise, it could just find its way back into the trend channel here. It needs to get above about $20.60 in order to really confirm this breakout move at the moment. So we're going to be monitoring that very closely on silver. So if we do get a breakout, the next key levels to look at are going to be up around the $21 an ounce level, or if we get a reversal at this point, we could see a reversal just back within this trend channel, which could take you back down to the $20 an ounce and back down to the 19.10 level as well. So we're just consolidating, but we're looking like we might be about to bottom, which would be in line with seasonality. Gold not doing as well today, but we've just got that key level gold needs to break through. In fact, late afternoon it's getting a bit of a nice rally at the moment. We're up to about 4:30 at the moment in the afternoon. This is the price that it needs to get through. It needs to get through 1317 here. We actually got a hammer on the daily time frame. We are above a cluster of moving averages. Silver's first mover, okay, you can see silver moving at the moment. So in fact gold, if we break above 1317, that looks bullish for gold. I would see next level of resistance is 1333, next level above that is 1353, and of course that will actually, we need to get through 1347, but that will signal a nice continuation of this of seasonality, and it will show, you know, the inverse relationship to the US dollar index as well if we continue to break out from here. So 1317, the level to watch today on gold and into next week as well. So here's our seasonality chart, so you can see August, where we typically would expect to get a bit of a relief rally in August. And let me just bring up seasonality chart for you. So this is where we are at the moment. This is what we normally get during August. So if we do get that move, we could see the market just rally back up to the 1350 level. So we'll be looking at that very closely. Okay, and then moving along to Brent crude oil. So Brent crude oil, we had this big breakdown on Brent crude oil over the week, which we traded short. Now it's finding a little bit of relief just around a key moving average as well. So we'll be watching if the US dollar index continues its ascent down. We would expect further weakness on Brent crude oil as well. If the US dollar holds here, we would expect a little bit of support, but we're getting below key moving averages on Brent, so I'll be looking now towards lower levels, 102, 103.72, and key levels of support below that. Okay, and then moving along finally to the look at the New Zealand US dollar. New Zealand US dollar had a really nice rally since non-farm payroll last week. Again, we're getting above a whole cluster of moving averages here, so it's temporarily on the bullish side at the moment. We are coming in to some key resistance levels at the moment on the US dollar index, which we're monitoring closely. Again, this is going to be very much dependent on how strong the US dollar index is going to be moving into next week, but we've certainly had some nice opportunities to day trade more recently across these commodity currencies, gold, silver, as well as Brent crude oil, USD CAD, on all this US dollar index weakness. Okay, so let's finally actually we're going to go to Australian US dollar. So Australian US dollar, very much the same situation, finding some support there just from last week's non-farm payroll. Key level of resistance is going to be just above at the, let's have a look, it's going to be the 0.9256 level on Australian US dollar, so we'll be watching that closely if we get some resistance at that level, or if we can break through. That also lines up with the key moving average. Okay, so that is really the key market analysis for you at the moment moving into next week. What we'll do now, we will just move across to key news events to look at over the next week. So the week ahead, you've got next, well, Monday, the 12th of August at 7 p.m. you've got the US federal budget balance. The federal balance measures the difference in value between the federal government's income and expenditure during the reported month. So a positive number indicates a budget surplus and a negative number indicates a deficit. So a higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish for the US dollar. And that's important because the US dollar is, of course, inversely correlated to gold. Next Tuesday, 10 a.m., we have the German ZEW economic sentiment, and that gauges the 6-month economic outlook. So a level above zero indicates optimism, below it indicates pessimism. Higher than expected readings should be taken as bullish for the euro, while of course a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish, and that's important because the euro's correlation to gold. Next week, Tuesday at 1:30, we got the US core retail sales. Now that measures the change in the total value of sales at the retail level, so excluding automobiles, and that's an important indicator of consumer spending, also considered as a pace indicator for the US economy. Higher than expected readings should be taken as bullish for the US dollar. A lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish. Next Wednesday, crude oil inventories are very important for your crude oil trades. Next Wednesday, 3:30, that data reports the number of barrels of crude oil commercial firms have in inventory. Commercial firms report their inventory levels to the Energy Information Administration on a weekly basis. That helped us in this week's short position on crude oil. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bearish for crude oil, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as bullish. Next Thursday at 1:30 we have the US core CPI. That measures the change in the price of goods and services excluding food and energy. So the CPI measures price change from the perspective of the consumer. It's a key way to measure changes in purchasing trends and inflation. Higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar. Lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish. And then next Thursday, 3 o'clock, we have the Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index. Now that index rates the relative level of general business conditions in Philadelphia. So that's important for gold and silver as well. A level above 0 on the index indicates improving conditions, below indicates worsening conditions, and that data is compiled from a survey of over 250 manufacturers in the Philadelphia Federal Reserve District. Okay, so higher than expected readings should be taken as bullish for the US dollar, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish. Then we have the CAD manufacturing sales. That measures the change in the overall value of sales made at the manufacturing level. So a higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the CAD, a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish. That's important because CAD is correlated also to gold and oil prices. And we have next Friday the Michigan Consumer Sentiment at 2:55 p.m. That index rates the relative level of current and future economic conditions. So there are two versions of this data released 2 weeks apart, and the preliminary data tends to have a greater impact. So a higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish. And of course, the next live trading room, Gold and Silver Club live trading room we have is going to be next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. We'll be going over live trade setup, setting you up for the whole week, getting all your alerts and trading live positions during that. If you would like to get more information about our live trading room, to request more information on that, you just go to www.jointhegoldandsilverclub.com, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just click the link below. Contact us at our London office at 0207 193 0403, or our New York office at 1646, that's +1 646 808 0403, or you can email us at office@thegoldandsilverclub.com. And of course, to do that, you just go on to jointhegoldandsilverclub.com, complete the form and request more information on our live trading room program. And make sure you subscribe to our newsletter as well. That's at www.thegoldandsilverclub.com, and you'll receive free weekly gold, silver, oil, commodity currency news, live market analysis and prices. Okay, so here are the contact details, guys, to get in touch with us. With that, we wish you luck for next week's trading, and if you need anything else, do get in touch. And with that, have a great weekend. Okay, guys, take care. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.